Welcome everyone, it is John, and I'm back with another adventure. And today brings us to Benham, Kentucky, and the Kentucky Coal Mining Museum. Guys, we're gonna learn about coal mining and a little bit of the history of it, so follow me. And the carpetbagger's here too.
Oh, hey.
Start out here at the entrance with a giant hunk of coal. Got a nice mural here on the wall. Pay script and stuff. Check us out, some core samples. A diorama of the mountain. Here's some old school coal mining equipment. Some old lamps here. It's really cool. If you look over here, got some samples of coal, some tools that was used back in the old days. Check out this case of equipment here. And then some old dinner buckets. So coal communities were called camps because the coal mine would own the whole property and house their employees, and they had clinics and hospitals for their families and their miners. And here's an example of what one would look like. You can see here's some x-rays of black lung, which my father has. Some pretty bad cases here. Look at this really old wheelchair. There's a mother just having a baby. There's a crib over there. Here's dentist chair. Another example of an old school wheelchair. Here's an example of what, if you was able to cut the mountain off the top of a mine, what it would look like. This is your intake shafts here, like if you were looking at it from outside. This is your main shaft where you'd enter. This is your belt line coming out. This is where the cars will go in. This is your intake shaft. And somewhere on the side of a mountain, they put a big fan and have a ventilation shaft. Something like that right there. And as you see, bring the air in, circulate it through the mine, and back out here. And they'd always leave these big pillars in, and if they were going to collapse the mine, they would slowly cut each row out and let the mine slowly collapse behind them. This is an example of the boss's office. Here's some examples of mine script. This is how they would be paid back in the day. They weren't ever, used to, they weren't paid with real money. They were given script. And the very building we're in here is what they call the commissary. So this is where the miners would come and get their supplies, their food, clothing, whatever they needed. It was basically like a huge, like an old school Walmart. And only thing good here was script. So the coal mines never really had to pay actual money. They just pay them in script, and they were basically used it here on property and bought stuff from the mine, so everything stayed internal. So it was kind of a monopoly of sorts. And here's an example, a diorama. If you take the top of the mountain and remove it, here is that big layer of coal, and it is an example of what the mines would look like inside. So someone who would venture off into an old mine shaft could very easily get lost and disoriented, because it's pretty much just like a giant grid, and it would be very disorienting to someone who didn't know what they were doing. Here's some town models here. Here's a coal temple where the coal would come up into it. Here's an example of some strip mining. And There's another example over there, like if you basically lifted the mountain up, as you can see what it would look like. There's another example of strip mining over there. And here's a good example what it would be like inside of a coal miner's home back in the old days. Honest to God, we had a table just like this growing up. Didn't have the chairs, which that would have been sweet. Love the old refrigerator. When I first got married, this is exactly the sink we had. We had an old house. Got the old stove, been powered by coal. Buffet table over there.
Hey John,
Huh.
is that a banana in their pocket, or are they just happy to see you?
Little of both. I freaking love this old clock. Oh, and that. It's like in every Southern Christian's home. Seriously. You won't find an old school Southern Christian without that in their home. And there's an old lady that will face the opposite way. You put them near each other. They're both praying over the bread. Now, let's move into the 50s/60s. We got the coal miner's wife here, looking good in her drab. Got the whole fireplace. Look at the TV. Got the coal miner's daughter and son. Got his little tricycle there. Got the Holy Bible out on the table. Some good stuff. We got the old school Joe's Barber Shop set up here. Got an old picture of the coal camp. Ooh, got some deer taxidermy here. And then you can't be in Kentucky without some Kentucky basketball fans. That was a pretty good team. Keith Bogans, Paul Smith. Yeah. Pretty good team back then. And you also have Tayshaun, one of the best ever play here. Anyways, this is not a basketball video. This is a coal mining museum. We got an old Pepsi machine, or RC, excuse me. If you want to get your boots shined, here's a good place to do it. All right, guys, we're heading down these stairs into the basement. I suppose there's some more awesome stuff. And the floors can be wet. All right. Creepy old basement here. Here's some old school mining tools. Maybe this is where you come and buy your tools with what looks like a man in black, weird looking face.
Ugh. I don't know why. That is so troubling.
Some
Get her face.
oxygen machinery here. Then we got a lot of almost looks like blacksmithing tools and a variety of different things here. There's another underground mine display.
Items from the bathhouse. I don't know why you'd.
Another underground mine display. Got a shaker here. It would shake all the slate away and the fresh coal would come out the bottom. It's like a model of what the big ones look like. Example of joining belts. Different ways they would join them together, belt lines. Here's a bathhouse. Here's an old oil display. Now this is an example of working in low coal. If you look here, I'm actually on my knees here. Yes, so this is very low. I'm gonna stand up. You have to stand like this. My back's against the roof. So we're gonna walk on. If you look here, that's a ton coal car right there. If you look around, back in there, that's what being underground would be like. Up here on the mezzanine, looking down where we were earlier. Pretty cool view up here. Here's an old photograph, and oftentimes young kids will be forced to work in the mines, especially if their fathers have passed away. It'd be the duty of the oldest kid, oldest son, to take his place working in the mine. Here's a depiction of the early days of school here. And if you look over here, here's a photo in front of Lynch. Now, that's a school that's now abandoned, and I've actually done a video there. I'll link that in the description down below if you want to go watch it. It's a really, really creepy school that's abandoned here locally. And here's an old cheerleader outfit from Lynch. Joyce. That's awesome. They were the Bulldogs. Hey, little pigeon. Here's like walking into the old country stores. Got the meat grinder here for ground beef. Got some paper to wrap your goods in. And we've got some toys here for the children. Oh, there's an Elf lunchbox. So cool. And you got your different supplies and needs back here. Back when you used to have to go to the counter and give them a list of what you wanted and have to go in the back to get it. Funny thing, the man who started the first select your own goods grocery store, he opened a Piggly Wiggly. I can't remember his name, but he started the modern day grocery store. Just a little nugget for your noggin. International Harvester made refrigerators. Can't get it open. We'll leave it alone. Scale for weighing out stuff. Different hats you could buy. Oh, here's a depiction of Loretta Lynn's cabin, Butcher Holler. We need to take a trip there one day. Check it out. Pedigree chart. Now, if you were hungry and wanted to visit the local diner, this is what it looked like, the Blue Diamond Coal Company Diner. Families would come in, have them a milkshake and a burger, and some fries. Lovely waitresses serving you. Look at these booths. And you can even try your hand at some pinball, if you so choose. That's a really, really cool relic right there. Look at each booth has its own little jukebox. You can select the song to play. That's some more Lynch high school memorabilia. And over here's the big jukebox. We got some folks here dancing away to some good old groovy music. Look at that. That looks like something Rose Nyland would have wore on the Golden Girls. There's Loretta Lynn's gold stage dress. It was actually worn by Loretta Lynn on stage. Look at these old postal boxes here. Some old equipment. And I got the sheriff's uniform here. This is a little bit of memorabilia from the show Justified, which was, the show was based around this area. In case you didn't know that. Some more of Loretta Lynn's attire. Got the vet clinic here, it looks like. Here in the horse stables. This young lady's taking care of some horses. We got the old grinding stone, working away. Got this stallion here. Check him out. Or her. I didn't look at to see if it's anatomically correct or not. Got an old school cot. Like an old cabin from way back in the day. Legend of Benham Spur. We got some lady hanging up the laundry. Got some unmentionables here. And then that little cabin back in the woods. Got their bear-skinned rug. Got a turkey strutting it out over here. Got a deer poking his head through the woods. Oh, this is Native Americans, okay. Let's see. Always gotta have that corn. We go to the well and fetch some water there, sir. Got some Native American tools here, some arrowheads, some stuff to hammer things with. Indian gavel. So Indians had judges too, and they banged the gavel. That's cool. There's a stretcher. They would have hauled a miner out if they had an accident or succumbed to suffocation. Here's an example of an incident where someone could have got crushed. And it happened a lot. People had died in mines accidents a lot. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the Kentucky Coal Mine Museum. This place is really cool. I definitely recommend. There's a lot of cool stuff in this area to see. Take a trip here one day. Check it out. You got the Coal Mine Museum. You got Portal 31 where you take a dark ride into an actual 1920s mine. It's a pretty cool place, guys. But for now, I'll leave you with that. I thank you for watching. If you want to further support this channel, I do sell awesome t-shirts like this in my Spreadshirt. Link is in the description. I also have PayPal where I send you cool stuff, guys. But for now, y'all have a good one.